Let's take a look back then. Gosh, this feels like a long time ago. Jerzy Spinkovic almost led into the first corner, but it would be Kenneth Hyatt that led the way in the early stages of the race. Andreas Berg Sorensen, he ended up in a spin on the first lap, had a little bit of contact, lost his wing mirror, but got the car back underway. And of course, he would work his way back up into the overall top 10 during that first phase of the race. Thomas Anderson under pressure from John Dillon. JD putting in a mega shift, as Matt Griffin had said there, down with Izzy Browning on the live interview. Ryan James going out a little bit wide further back. The 76 car, meanwhile, the trepidatious Andreas Berg Sorensen maybe going wide and out of the way. Meanwhile, the 333 car getting involved in some battles further back. Ryan James, Alessio Ruffini and Darren Howell all having a battle towards the rear of the field in these wet conditions. Meanwhile, Severin Mazur was making his car as wide as he could to try and hold off Andreas Berg Sorensen. Lots of fighting at every end of the order, an increasing amount of carbon fiber on some of the runoff areas as well. The 99 and the 81 also having some fights there. The 99 being Alberto Duran on his first weekend back in racing for 14 years. John Dillon found it very hard to get it car turned at turn 5 onto the paint. Once it was onto the paint, it didn't want to go much else anywhere. The 32 of Alexander Bijatovic had to do some strategic manoeuvring to get the car back in the right direction up at turn 8. Then Simon Birch taking over that Razoon car that we just saw leaving the pit lane. Simon Birch, we expected to move up through the order significantly. Didn't quite happen in the end. Kenneth Hyatt handed over to Moritz Viskirchen, who we saw there taking the lead of the race from Jerzy Spinkovic during the pit window. Viskirchen was building a significant lead at the front of the field. Meanwhile, Simon Birch was fully sideways ahead of Rui Aguas, who was being somewhat delayed by the battle with the number 14 Razoon Porsche, and he did get through only to make an error that meant he had to do it all over again. But eventually Aguas definitively managed to get past and began hunting the Cup 1 podium. The Cup 1 podium, incidentally, being headed by Matt Griffin, who took over from John Dillon. Oscar Rinzovic, unfortunately, while he was leading the class early on, in the second phase of the race, he fell through the order. That was Mikael Mack passing him to put him off the podium places. Oliver Webb, meanwhile, in the McLaren Artura trophy car, was having some good battles further back. That's Rui Aguas making his way past Oscar Rinzovic for 4th in class. And then just a few moments later, he would also begin to nip at the heels and indeed pass Jerzy Spinkovic. Alexander Bijatovic really wasn't getting on with the exit of turn 8, but c'est la vie, I suppose. Race winner, though, at the end of it all, despite the best efforts of the pursuing Sean Hudspeth and Mikael Mack, was Matt Griffin, who eventually won by just over 1.5 seconds in the race. And around the final corner of the lap, what a move from Simon Birch to all the way around Oscar Rinzovic to eventually finish 5th overall. So then, the race results as follows. A top 4 completely made of Cup 1 Ferraris. Matt Griffin winning it from Sean Hudspeth in 2nd place. Mikael Mack in P3. Rui Aguas just behind them in 4th place. The first non-Ferrari challenge car, Simon Birch in 5th position. Oscar Rinzovic behind him. Jerzy Spinkovic winning Cup 4 in 7th overall. Luka Ludwig in P8. Nikola Kaldani in 9th place. And Milos Pavlovic rounding out the overall top 10. Matthias Lizowski wins Cup 2 alongside Przemysław Bienkowski. Severin Mazur in 12th place. Moritz Viskirchen in P13. Kalle Bergman in 14th. Dieter Sveps 15th place. Doyle, Webb, Hernandez and Bijatovic taking us down to the 19 cars that completed the race. A few went missing between races 2 and 3, but still a very exciting conclusion to the GT Winter Series weekend at Portimão.